And then, all right, so we'll stop the share while we have Lily and Sheila.
We lost Sheila.
We lost Sheila, so no, she's back. No worries. So if you want to change your view to speaker view, then you'll get to see the presenters sharing. Otherwise, you can stay in the group view and see everyone. So Lily, could you tell us what are some skills that you use each day in your job? And what skills do you find necessary for administrative roles in general?
Yes, thank you, and welcome everyone. I'm happy to be here to speak about this. So the skills I'm going to mention that I use every day in my job, I think are also necessary in administrative roles because a lot of HR work is administrative. We are people. So we have that kind of skill, but we also do a lot of administrative work too. So one of the skills would be organizational skills, something that will help you keep organized. For myself, I use a lot of different tools to keep me organized, like my calendar, to-do lists. I have a dry erase board, and everybody is different, but it's very important to have this skill because with any administrative role, there's always going to be multiple tasks and multiple priorities. So a way for you to organize yourself in whatever system you create to make sure you can get everything done that you need to and prioritize it correctly. So that's very important in an administrative role. Another thing is written and verbal communication. So in my job, I talk to a lot of people, and in administrative roles, you do too. And especially in a virtual world, communication is even more important to make sure things are clearly written and understood. And I think that's been hard for a lot of people as we move to remote work. But even in person, right, we need to make sure we are communicating what we need clearly. And writing emails is a huge thing. Most jobs, you need to write emails. So your written communication is very important because you're probably going to write emails to your colleagues, to managers, to outside vendors, maybe to patrons, right? So you want to make sure your verbal and written communications reflect what you want to get across when you're writing or speaking. So for example, in meetings, you want to come prepared to your meeting with what you're going to talk about or what may be talked about. And if you're asked a question, to be able to sit and think about the question so that you answer it completely and clearly. And even if you don't know the answer, that you say you don't know the answer, that you'll get back to the person. So that's just part of verbal communication where you want to get the point across or let the person know what you're thinking or how you're feeling and what the next steps are. So those kind of skills will be very helpful in an administrative role. Another skill that I use every day and that is very important is technology. So typing is really important, obviously, because we're like doing a lot of things on the computer. So typing, knowing programs such as Microsoft Office or Google Suite. If you have to use any machines for your role, such as a fax or scanner or printer, those are the kind of skills you would need in an administrative role. And if you don't know these skills, which, we're not going to know every program, every software, every machine. If you don't know them, ask someone. It's not, I know a lot of people sometimes are like unsure if you want to ask, but ask someone who knows or look it up or find a program or a free course that will teach you about it. There are a lot of resources out there like Mikasa and the library. So for example, if you don't know Google Suite, and you don't know how that works, there are online tutorials that can show you how to use the functions that are within Google Suite. So along those lines, not necessarily a skill, but the willingness to take the initiative to learn things is really important, especially when you are just starting out, just trying to learn things. If you know there is something you don't know, then reach out to somebody to learn that skill or learn that software, right? And then that'll put you in front of maybe some other people. So it's important to know that something is available and to maybe take that on, have the initiative to take that on. Something else that's important in an administrative role is attention to detail. For me, we have a lot of like data entry, this person did this software and things like that, and we need to make sure things are correct, especially in human resources. So attention to detail, being able to, take the time to do the entry. I know that for me, at least, sometimes I just have so much where I'm just trying to get it done, but then I have to stop myself, right? So that's a skill that you learn for yourself, to stop yourself, to make sure that you're entering things correctly, doing everything in the right order, and ensuring accuracy. So I know with administrative roles, this might be a huge part of the role is entering data or customer information or looking something up. And so paying attention to those details are very important too. So those are some of the skills I think are important in those roles.
That's great, Lily. Thank you. I was taking notes for sure. Well, awesome. Now we're gonna ask Sheila. Sheila, can you share how you got into your current role and what are some previous jobs or trainings that you participated in that gave you skills and experience for the role you're in now?
Sure. Hello and welcome again, everyone. I'm going to put my disclaimer and my apology out in advance. I am going through a cold right now, so my throat is a little sensitive. So I hope that does not affect my speaking with you. I'm very excited to participate in this Lunch and Learn. So, as Brenna said to you when she talked to you about my bio, one of the things that I firmly believe is that everything that you need is already inside of you. What I mean by that is that at some point, all of your encounters and your experiences will somehow come full circle in order for you to achieve the goals that you set for yourself. I started off in human resources as an agency temporary. Outside temporary agency that hired government employees for government positions. I was really excited about the function that I was in. I was accepted as an office manager. And through being an office manager, there were folks that saw things inside of me. As Lily said, about attention to detail, communication skills, transparency, accountability, using technology in order to advance yourself. So I got into a mentorship program. And through the mentorship program, I was able to advance to a state temporary position within the same function. Now, once I got that state temp position, the director said, "You're the first person in this office that is the first point of contact. You see everything that comes into this office. You read the mail, you read the policies, you read the procedures, and become aware of what's happening." And through that knowledge, I was able to educate myself by investing in myself personally, by taking advantage of the opportunity and advice to read everything that came into that office, coupled with my educational skills to apply for positions that I saw was fitting the goals that I had set for myself. So ultimately, I was able to go up to, within the state of Maryland, one of the highest levels within human resources, which was a personnel administrator. Now, that was definitely coupled with experience and some formal education. There were certifications that I took, learning about software applications. I joined professional groups. I joined things at my agency. There was it was a major program called Stepping into Success. That was for folks that were in paraprofessional occupations that wanted to cross over into professional classifications. So that helped me a lot. I volunteered outside of work. I knew that I wanted to be in government because I am a very service-oriented person. So the occupation that I was in dealt with public service. So I learned how to network, how to join mentorship groups, definitely investing in myself by additional education. And that's how I am where I am today.
Can I add on to that too? When you're speaking, when Sheila's talking about networking, it's like one of those things when you're on the job, like every day is an interview, is what people say, because you meet people who might be the one that's reaching out to you for that position. So I think that's also key. It's like you meet these people, and if you find somebody that you think would be a good mentor, someone to give you good tips, ask them, reach out to them and ask them, because I think that shows that you have the initiative and you have that drive and you're interested. And it's always good to maintain contacts, and especially in the field that you want to work in too.
Absolutely.
Thank you, ladies. Well, Lily, could you share some what your favorite part of your current role is?
Yeah, I just started at DOR, Department of Revenue, in August. So currently I'm in this learning mode. So one of my favorite parts is like getting to know what every division does and getting to know the managers. So I really love learning about what we provide our residents. So like Sheila, I'm also a service-oriented person. So I've worked in government before, and I like that I have some part in what we provide for our community. So I also like extending job offers because that's fun, and like people are excited to get a job offer. But I think that's fun too. Also, DOR has these values that I feel like is part of me too. And so our values are service, teamwork, accountability, integrity, and respect. So this goes along with my at least service-oriented, what I like to do, right? I like to serve the community, and I believe that as like a person that works at the government, these things are very important because I want to trust my government. I want to trust where I'm going, and so I'm part of that to make sure that we are accountable and we have integrity. So I really love that our values are those, because that's something that aligns with my own personal values. So yeah, those are some things.
Thank you. And Sheila, what are some challenges of your current role, or what is one challenge of your current role?
Definitely, just similar to Lily, I came to the Department of Revenue late July, early August. So we are definitely a part of a big change that's going on. That can also be a challenge because we know that change can be difficult. Change is different. So learning how to be both a change agent and an advocate, learning not to lose your voice. You do have an opinion, your opinion matters. You have knowledge, skills, and abilities. That's why they hired you to do the job that you perform. Also managing multiple priorities. We have oversight of a multitude of departments, which encompasses various personalities and behaviors that you have to learn to communicate with, to keep your sanity, to keep your peace, in order, to address some of the issues that you have. But that goes back to what I say about everything that you have already inside of you, those experiences, those encounters. Once upon a time, I was a corrections officer in a maximum security facility. I was a female officer in a male populated dormitory, open dormitory style. I was mom, dad, psychiatrist, counselor, doctor, lawyer. So I learned how to manage people, manage work that needed to get accomplished. So that's one example of how your life experiences and encounters that you have may help you achieve some of the goals that and things that you have going on currently.
That's great. All right, so now I want to ask Lily a little bit about the compensation. What is kind of a general compensation for more of a starting role in an administrative position? What could someone expect or look for as far as wage and compensation?
Sure. Yeah. So we have two roles out currently that we're hiring for. Administrative Assistant 2, which starts at $35,448 a year. And then our Technician 1, which is in our driver license offices, which is $34,200 a year. So both those roles are in our, well, actually, that's not true. Our Technician 1s are in our driver license offices, so that's our DMV. And then we have administrative assistants across all our divisions. So when we want to talk about like total compensation at the state of Colorado, because salary is just like one part of that, we have a great benefits package. So your medical, vision, dental, we have employee assistance programs. We just learned that we're gonna all have an eco pass. So all state employees get a free eco pass with the RTD. And then, you know, a website with discounts on all sorts of stuff. And then we also have a great retirement package. So it's para is what it's called. Instead of Social Security, it's this other thing. I guess kind of like pension-ish. So if you put in your state years of service, then, you know, you get paid after you retire from the state. So it's a really great package when we talk about compensation. And, you know, when you look for an employer, it's important to look at these other things besides just your salary, because there are other things you might need, right? Like your medical, and then if you want to save for retirement, those are important too. And then, wait, did you ask me something else? So wage and benefits for these two roles. And these two roles we're actually currently recruiting for, and they're open.
Great, yeah, and those are entry-level roles, right, Lily?
Mhm.
So someone without a ton of experience can
So
demonstrate their
yeah. Our Technician 1 requires 1 year of customer service. So it's a high-level customer service position. It's front-facing. You know, when you go to a driver license office, those are our technicians. And then our Administrative Assistant 2 depends on what division you're working for. Currently, we have a call center. These are call center positions open, but we also have others that are, you know, more data entry or, you know, things like that. So those positions look for general clerical experience. So if you do have some sort of administrative background, or even customer service, really, that would fit for those roles.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback also off of, I'm sorry.
You're good, go ahead.
What Lily said as well. Some of our administrative assistant positions, because like she said, they are department wide. For example, I have compliance positions. So if you work somewhere where you work with regulations, policy, rules, for example, Claudia, your involvement with the union, that is experience that you can use, that's used as like a preferred qualification. That's something that would set you apart from other administrative assistants, just that general knowledge and that experience that you've had with your involvement with that group.
That's great. And yeah, in a few minutes here, I'm going to share about our administrative services training, which can help you kind of look at the experiences you've had and draw out those skills that you might not even realize you already have from previous jobs, and then give you more confidence to apply for those positions. And so we have a couple more questions here. We're coming to the end of our half an hour. So I believe Sheila's going to share with us what are some benefits of working with the industry, and do you see a lot of growth opportunities within the Department of Revenue, maybe specifically?
Yes, most definitely. I think this is a great job and a great industry. Again, like you said, if you are a service-oriented person, if you enjoy working with people, if you enjoy communicating with people, both orally and written and in written communication. Recruitment is changing. Selection process is changing. We are now moving forward into a more digital, virtual environment. If you look at now, for example, within the Department of Motor Vehicles, you can go to your local King Supers and there's a kiosk and you can get your titling or your registration done. There's also kiosks that are inside of the DMV locations. So that's an indicator that shows you how things are changing, positions are changing. Where we used to have more forward front-facing customer service agents, now we have this new technology that has advanced. So that might be an opportunity for you to cross over and learn, how do I troubleshoot this kiosk? How can I use my customer service skills to help, a customer that's coming in? It's also a great opportunity because you get to learn about the candidate experience. On both ends, what is it like to sit down and fill out an application? And then now you can be in a position where you are helping and assisting someone in completing the same task that you previously performed. So there's various roles, as I said, as advancements in technology are coming about. That's great. The benefits are greater than the take-home pay based off the total compensation. So if you have very long-term goals as to where you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now, Department of Revenue is the perfect place for you to be. We have more than just the DMV, we have the marijuana industry, and we know that is booming. We have multiple positions. We have lottery, we have gaming, we have taxation. There's a multitude of areas that you can get yourself into and explore and learn.
That's great. And our last question is, what would you advise, or what advice would you give someone who is looking to get into the administrative industry?
So I think, some of us, we've touched on this, is that whatever skills you've attained from your life experiences or whatever jobs you've held in the past, you want to make those skills attractive for the role that you're applying for. So when you look at a job announcement, look for what skills are asked for in that announcement, and then think about how you might have those skills. Because it might not be obvious, like even if it's customer service, you're like, well, I haven't been a customer service rep, but I'm sure you've done customer service in your previous roles, just not like outwardly, that's not your title. So those are the kind of things we're saying, like, look for those skills in your previous experiences when you're applying for a job. Mention them when you're applying. Make sure that you write down all your certifications. If this is like a tech heavy job, make sure you list your certification in whatever it might be, Excel Advanced or Google Suite or like Adobe, things like that. If you've taken certifications, list them, because those are all helpful for the hiring manager to look at. They're going to see, oh, well, you're up to speed on like what's new with Adobe. That's great, because we need someone that really needs to know that. So don't think that there's a barrier there. You can set yourself apart by looking for these skills within yourself, like Sheila said, and take the initiative, and that should be good. And Sheila, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
I'll just piggyback. I'll just say, don't be afraid to be creative. Don't sell yourself short. A lot of folks say, it, for example, if you are a stay-at-home parent and you've had this responsibility because of the pandemic, so you became your child's teacher. So what did you do in the interim where you were at home? You were a scheduling assistant, because I'm sure you had to coordinate the schedule that the teachers provided, the school provided, with what you had going on at home. You may have, then clearly you were a technology assistant. If that laptop, that iPad or something went wrong, I'm sure you had to troubleshoot some operations. So don't be afraid to be creative. Don't sell yourself short. There are things that you do. You manage multiple priorities on a daily basis. You provide customer service on a daily basis. Every time you pick up the phone when that bill collector calls and you have to create, some communication to express your needs at the time, don't sell yourself short. Use it. You'll be surprised at how far you can advance.
That's great. And that's one of the services. So Mikasa offers career coaching. And so if you need some help thinking through how to put those skills onto your resume or into a cover letter, we're here to support you, to help you think through those jobs you've had. And we have some resources and tools to draw out those skills and get them on paper. So thank you so much, Lily and Sheila, for joining us today. I do want to share a little bit about our administrative services training for those who can stay on. I know it's a little past 1, so I want to respect everyone's time. But first, I want to see if anyone has any questions for Sheila or Lily before we go on to our next part. And you can always put those in the chat or contact us at Mikasa. I have our contact information at the end, and we can get those questions to the Department of Revenue. So let's see. So I wanted to do a quick little overview of our administrative services training that we're going to be offering at the end of this month. The first day of that training is the 31st, and there is an enrollment deadline of the 27th. That allows us to get you into the class and everything that you need to prepare for that first day. So technology help, if you need any other accommodations or assistance, we can get that figured out before the first day. This is over Zoom, so hopefully that allows you the flexibility to take and participate in this course. I do know that in the past we've had people who are in administrative services roles, and their employers have allowed them to participate in this class to continue building upon their skills. So if that's something you're interested in, we could help you figure out how to approach your place of employment to talk about making that possible. And it does meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 12. So that's 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And it's about a 5 or 6 week course. So the graduation date will be on March 3rd. And so the program is really designed to help you learn and practice in-demand skills that would include customer service, written and verbal communication, computer skills, and other administrative skills. So a lot of those things that Lily and Sheila mentioned will be covered in this course. And maybe you already have some of those skills, and this will help you really figure out how to display those for applying for different positions. Another great opportunity that comes with being in connection with Mikasa is networking and developing relationships. We have a lot of connections. For example, Lily and Sheila are a connection we have. And so it gives you opportunities to learn about different positions available, to network, and to grow within the industry. And then you'll also receive personalized support from Mikasa. Our trainers, one of them is with us today, Veronica, and I support the class. So you'll get one-on-one coaching to help you grow. And then one of my favorite parts of this training is just the confidence that you'll have after taking it to say, hey, I took this training. I know I have these skills. And you'll grow in confidence to apply for, interview for, and hopefully ultimately get a job that it's stable, good paying. You can see the benefits in administrative roles. Oftentimes the benefits are really great, and that they're very stable jobs, allowing you to work normal hours, so 9 to 5 maybe if you're a parent and that's something that you really need. This type of job is really great for that. And then, so the course I mentioned is over Zoom, 10 to 12. That's the time that you'll be participating. It's very not hands-on because you're over Zoom, but very interactive. And then there's about 8 hours of self-paced work that includes anything from working on getting your resume up to date or writing a cover letter, or different tasks that will help you learn specific skills for administrative roles. So that's the information I have about our class. Does anyone have any questions about the course? I will put up our contact information. Alejandro is our outreach and enrollment specialist, and you can contact any of us via these emails to sign up for that course, or you can go to micasaresourcecenter.org, and in our calendar, that's one way to access the link to sign up. You can also go to the career pathways page and find the information to sign up. But if you don't want to navigate the website, you can send an email to us and we'll help you. And I'll stay on a few minutes if anyone has questions and wants to sign up. I do see. Great. Thank you, ladies, for putting your information in the chat as well as those jobs. That's awesome.
I'm sorry, probably you've mentioned it before, but is there a cost for this? Is there
Great question. This training is completely free.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And special thanks to our guest speakers for sharing their expertise. And yeah, we really appreciate hearing from you and your commitment to sharing the jobs with us and for the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you for coming today, and thanks for having us.
Thank you so very much. Now tell everybody about Mikasa and tell everybody about the Department of Revenue. Come on, come all, Lottie Dottie and everybody. You're welcome.
Amazing.
Great.
Awesome. Well, I'll stay on, but that kind of concludes our webinar today. So thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.